I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on MHF4U, which is Advanced Functions in Toronto, Canada. Here is a video with one of my students, Chelsea. She wants to understand what are rational functions and how do we solve rational equations. Let us see, in a very simple format, what rational functions are, how do we write their restrictions, and how do we solve equations related to rational functions. We will also take up some application questions. These are very interesting as they are from the past test papers. I hope having an insight to this will help you a lot. Let's see how rational functions work. Hi, Chelsea. How are you doing?
Hi, sir. I'm good. How are you?
Very good, very good. So, Chelsea, what are you doing in mathematics now at school?
So right now I am in grade 12. I'm taking advanced functions, and right now we're doing unit 5. So it's a little bit past the beginning, but we're doing drawing reciprocal functions and solving reciprocal functions.
Perfect. So, in this class, let me see what you're doing. And if you have any doubts, you can ask, and I can help you solve them and make you understand the whole concept.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
I'll
You can share.
Yeah. So right now we're doing 5.4 and 5.5, so solving rational equations.
Perfect. So, you are given two examples here. You can
Mhm.
always visit my YouTube channel. We have hundreds of examples on this particular topic, MHF4U rational functions. And you get more practice questions plus the previous test questions also there. Okay. Now, let me make you understand how should we solve rational equations, taking the two examples which you are sharing now with me. So let me annotate. Okay, fine. So the very first example here is x minus 2 over x minus 3 equals to 0. Now, to solve this, it is pretty simple because if you want something to be 0, the numerator should be 0, correct?
Right.
So clearly, we have x minus 2 equals to 0, and the solution is x equals to 2. Perfect. So that is how you could actually get solution of this particular equation. Now, whenever you are given a rational function, it is, I should say by default, you should mention what are the restrictions, right? So when you begin with the solution, you should say that x is not equal to 3. So that is the restriction. Do you understand?
Yes.
Well, this one is a simple equation, but sometimes you may have rational equations where the restriction may be one of your solution. So those are called redundant or extraneous rules. So whenever you get a solution, you have to check your solution also by placing it back in the equation. Is that okay?
Okay.
Or as I'm saying, first thing first, write down the restriction, correct? And now this was pretty simple. So we want the numerator x minus 2 equals to 0, which simply gives you x equals to 2 as your solution, correct? So that becomes the solution. Now, I read here that there are two methods. Well, there are a couple of methods, just as we found one, correct?
Mhm.
Numerator has to be 0 if you ultimately want the left side to be 0, right? Okay.
Right.
Let's take up the next question, which is x plus 3 divided by x minus 4 equals to x minus 1 divided by x plus 2. So this is relatively a difficult question to do. So first thing first, what will you like to do here?
So first we should do the restrictions, right?
Perfect. So x is not equal to 4, that is 1, and it is also not equal to minus 2. Is that clear? Because these are the denominators, right?
Mhm.
Now, this is an equation, and therefore, you can multiply both sides by the same terms, get rid of denominator. That could be one of our strategies, right? So we say strategy 1. Multiply both sides by common denominator. Right. So in this case, the denominator is x minus 4 and the other denominator is x plus 2. So we can multiply by their product, correct? So if you do that, what do you get? You get x plus 3 times x minus 2 on the left side, and on the right side, you get x minus 1 times x minus 4. Is that clear to you?
Yes.
Because we
So
multiplied, yeah.
yeah, you're multiplying from the denominator of the other side
Yeah.
of the.
Yes. So basically, look at it like this. We have x plus 3 over x minus 4. I'm multiplying this by x minus 4 times x plus 2, correct? And
Yeah.
also on the other side, which is x minus 1 over x plus 2, I'm multiplying this by x minus 4 times x plus 2. So when I do so, then one of these factors, they get cancelled. And what you remain is without that denominator, right? A quadratic equation, basically. Correct? So that is strategy 1. You could do this. When it is kind of a proportion type of a thing, right? We call this as cross multiplication. So what you could also do is just cross multiply and get the result. Do you see that? So when you do cross multiplication, so we get this term, let me show you in the question itself. This term gets multiplied with the first on the left, and this gets multiplied there. You see that cross multiplication? So you could do this cross multiplication. Now, another thing which you could do is to get them all on one side. So let me show you that also here in the center. So we have x plus 3 over x minus 4. We could do minus of x minus 1 over x plus 2 equals to 0. Do you see that? So we brought all the terms to one side. Yeah. And now we will take common denominator, multiply, and then continue. Correct? So these are different strategies. 2 of them are listed here for you. These are the most common 2 strategies used to solve any rational equation. Is that clear?
Yes.
So one of them, multiply by lowest common denominator. Second, put over one denominator. That is taking common denominator just as we did here in this particular case. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Right. But depending on situations, we can modify our method. Cross multiplication is a very useful technique and a very fast one, which gives you the result of multiplying both sides by the common denominator at times. Correct? Now, you just need to expand this and simplify. You get the idea, right? Apply the distributive property, expand and simplify, correct? So when you do that, you get what? You get x squared minus 2x plus 3x minus 6 equals 2. On the other hand, we have x squared minus 4x minus x, and then we have plus 4, correct? Distributed property has been applied. Now you can bring all the terms together. Well, we do see x squared is canceling out. So we are left with a linear equation. Good for us, right? Now, but other things we can put together. So we have bringing this minus 4x, I get 4x here. Then we have minus 2x plus 3x. We have minus 6, and then this is plus x minus 4 equals to 0. So I brought all the terms to the left side. I just canceled x squared, right? Now we'll combine the terms. Well, the method is you could combine the terms and then bring them. Definitely, yes. So 4x plus 3x is 7. 7 minus 2x is 5x plus x here, 6x. As far as the numbers are concerned, we have minus 6 and minus 4, which gives us minus 10 equals to 0. And so x is equals to 10 over 6, which is 5 over 3, correct?
Yeah.
So what do you notice here? That while you were simplifying, you could bring x terms to the left side and the constants to the other side. You get the idea?
Yes.
You could do that. So let's summarize what all you could do, right? So the best way to solve this could have been first cross multiply. And since we had a linear equation, right? So we had a linear equation, right? In that case, you could bring variables on left equals to constant on right. Is that clear to you?
Yeah.
But if it was a quadratic, get all the terms on the left side. So the idea is, if it is quadratic, bring all the terms to the left side, since in that case, you may have to factor, correct? And then find the solution.
Yeah.
And then you factor and solve. But for linear, it was very simple, x, and then we had this constant, we could divide and get the answer. So you get an idea, right? So that is how you have to solve such a question, correct? My focus at present is to show you the method, right? I might have done calculation mistakes. I want you to solve it yourself and verify the result. Do you get the idea, right? Right. So I just did some calculations here, but my idea here is to just teach you the method. I would like you to perform all the calculations, get the right answer. Once you get the answer, you have to check solution, right? That will be your last step, check solution. Also note that solution should not be including 4 or minus 2. Is that okay?
Right, because it's a restriction. Okay.
Since it is there. Well, it is not one of the solutions in our case. So yes, that's fine. So I think the solution solving rational equation from these examples is absolutely clear, right? Is it clear to you? No difficulty, correct?
And for the second method that we learned, the moving everything to one side or the over one denominator, you should get the same answer, right?
Of course. So yeah, of course. So basically, let me clear all. I've cleared. So we have this, it's like x plus 3 over x minus 4. Bring all the terms together. Will give you x minus 1 over x plus 2 equals to 0. Then the common denominator is x minus 4 times x plus 2. Cross multiply, right? So we have x plus 3 times x plus 2 minus x minus 1 times x minus 4 equals to 0. Now that means that numerator should be 0, correct? So we get this cross multiplication statement, which is same as we wrote earlier, which is x plus 3 times x plus 2 minus x minus 1 times x minus 4. Is it okay? Equals to 0, correct? So it means same as cross multiply, bring the terms together. So we get the same result. Perfect. So that is how you could do it. Okay. For more examples, you can visit my YouTube channel, and I'll also send you some.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So let's see the word problems which are there for you.
Yeah. Here you go.
Correct. Can you please read the question?
Yes. Example C. When they work together, Gaddy and Alice can deliver flyers to all the homes in their neighborhood in 42 minutes. When Alice works alone, she can finish the deliveries in 13 minutes less time than Gaddy can when he works alone. How long does it take Gaddy to deliver the flyers by himself?
Correct. Now this becomes a rational function, mainly because the variable here is how fast a person is working, correct? So if you work fast, you will do it in lesser amount of time. You get the idea?
Yeah.
Right. So because you're dividing by a bigger number, you get a smaller time. When you divide by a bigger number, you get a smaller time. So basically, it is like similar to speed distance I should say distance, speed, time problem, right? So when you have a rate, it becomes a rational function, correct? See, in this t and speed is the rate of change, which is in the denominator, right? So if you want to find the time of delivery, the time is distance over speed. Do you see that? So speed, the rate at which you are working is in the denominator. So you're very familiar with distance, speed, time problems, correct? So this is kind of same problem. So first, let us define the variables. It says, when they work together, Getty and Ellis, so you have to define the variable, deliver the flyers to all the homes in their neighborhood in 42 minutes. So together, they do it in 42 minutes. When Ellis works alone, she can finish the delivery in 13 minutes less time than Getty can when he works alone. So we have to define a variable. Let's say time taken by Getty is G. Let's say time by Getty.
So Alice's time would be Gaddy minus 13.
Correct. In that case, Alice will be, will be G minus 13. Is that okay? Now, when they work alone, this is their time, right? But when they work together, they can finish the complete job in 42 minutes. So we say complete job is 1 unit, right? So in 1 minute, how much job will they do? 1 over their speed.
So 1 over 42.
1 over 42 is the total, right? So yes, 1 over 42. With their rate, 1 over G plus 1 over G minus 13 should be equal to 1 over 42. We get the idea.
Yeah.
So in 1 unit of time, in this case, it is minute, 142 portion of the job will be done, right? And each will do 1 over G and 1 over G minus 13, depending on the rate. So you get an equation. And this equation is only in one variable. And therefore, you can easily solve it, correct? So now, can you help me solve this equation? How will you do it?
So first we can multiply the denominators to the numerators.
So G minus 3, we have a common denominator here, right? Over, we'll multiply this and this by G, right? Plus G. And we have a common denominator of G times G minus 13, correct? Equals to 1 over 42. Clear? Now you can simplify the numerator, which is G plus G is 2G. So we have 2G minus 3 over all this. Well, this is 13 minutes less, right? So we'll just open this. I should have written 13. I wrote 3. I don't know why. 13 minutes. Sorry, 13, right? 2G minus 13. So when you multiply this, you get G square minus 13G, right? Equals to 1 over 42. Clear? Now you can cross multiply and then solve. So let's multiply by 42 the terms 2G minus 13. And
sorry,
that will,
sir.
Yes.
Could you cross out the G minus 13 because they're both on the numerator and denominator?
No. Once you simplify, then you can cross out.
Okay.
Or you have a common factor. So at present, you will just cross multiply. I just simplified G and G, added them to make 2G. Is it okay? That's what I did, right? Now, so I cross multiply with 42. So we get 42 times this equal to, on the other side, we have G square minus 13G. Correct? As you can see in this particular case, we are having a quadratic equation, right?
Right.
So we'll bring all the terms together on one side. So let me bring it right in the center and we'll solve further. So we have G square minus 13G. Taking these terms to the right side, 42 times 2 is 84, right? So with the negative sign, 84G, and 42 times 13 with a positive sign, we can use calculator and multiply this. 42 times 13 equals to 0. So you see one quadratic equation right there. Now you can simplify, use calculator. So a G square minus add these two terms. 4 and 3 is 7, and 8 and 1 is 9, 97. And use calculator to multiply 42 and 13. 546 equals to 0. Clear? At this stage, you can factor or you can use quadratic formula. Correct? Because this is a quadratic equation. So you can factor or you can use quadratic formula to get your answer. Correct?
And then you would have two answers if you use quadratic formula, right?
Yes. One of them will not be valid. Now, that's a very brilliant question. Now, what is not valid? We have g minus 3. Do you see that g minus 13, right? The time to complete the job has to be positive, and therefore g has to be greater than 13. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It cannot be equal to 13. It cannot be less than 13. So we have a restriction here. So the restriction here is g is greater than 30. Is that clear to you?
Mm-hmm.
So the other answer, which is less than 13, is an extraneous root, is not valid for this particular situation.
Mm-hmm.
You get the idea?
Yes.
So that's how you should be doing it. Now, I shall also discuss with you the factoring technique. See, if there is a big number, how do we factor? Like 546. So, and this is 97. Not easy to factor otherwise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can try this. You can find factors of 546. For example, you can divide by 2, right? So you get what? You get 273, right?
Yeah.
Now this can be, because 7 plus 2 is 9 and 3, it can go by 3. So 391. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that is how you're trying to get this answer. So in this case, it is kind of difficult. So I like you to do quadratic formula. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So use quadratic formula to solve.
Okay.
Perfect. So you can do the solution. We'll look into the next question now.
Okay. Example D. Anastasia bought a case of concert t-shirts for $450, and she kept 2 t-shirts for herself and sold the rest for $560, making a profit of $10 on each shirt. How many t-shirts were in the case?
Okay. How will you approach this question? Okay. So what is profit? Profit is what you sold for, let's say selling price minus the cost price. That is what profit is, correct?
Yeah.
Now, a case of t-shirts for 450, and it says how many t-shirts were there in the case. So first define your variable. Let X be the number of t-shirts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now see, what is the cost price of all these t-shirts? The cost is $450, correct?
Yes.
So cost of one?
So it would have to be divided by the number.
Yeah. So total is X, right?
Yeah.
And 450 is the total cost. So if you divide with the number, you get the money, dollars per piece, right? So dollar on the top, right? Cost of one piece, one each, will be $450 divided by the number X, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What is the selling price? Sold at 560, correct? How many pieces? 10. How many pieces? She kept 2 t-shirts for herself. That means X minus 2. Is it okay? X minus 2. She kept 2. That means X minus 2 were sold. Perfect?
Yeah.
And what is the profit in this case?
$10 per shirt.
So we have our equation. Do you see that?
Mhm.
So the equation is that the difference between this selling price, which is 560 over x minus 2, minus the cost price, which is 450 over x, should be equal to $10. Get the idea?
Yeah.
So that is how you can now solve it. Again, cross multiply. So we're learning the technique of solving equations. So now, see, in the word problems, you have very difficult equations to solve, right? So we'll multiply each term by x minus 2 times x. And so what do you get? You get 560x minus x minus 2 times 450 equals to 10 times x minus 2. Is that clear to you?
Yes.
All the terms, right? Because we are multiplying. Now, you need to open the bracket, solve, and get the answer. You get the idea. You can do that part, right? So you have 560x minus multiplying with x will be 450x minus as minus plus 900 equals to 10x squared minus 20x, correct?
Yes.
Bring all the terms together. So when you bring all the terms together, I would like you to keep the leading coefficient always positive. So 10x squared is on the right hand side. So we'll move all the left side items to the right hand side, keeping that as positive. You understand the strategy, correct? So I will write 0 equals to, so we have 10x squared, right? And then we have minus 20x. You can do 460 minus 450 is how much? 110, right?
Mhm.
So minus 110 x and plus 900 becomes negative 900. So you have your equation to solve, which is 0 equals to 10x squared. And when you add this, you get minus 130x minus 900. So, well, you can divide by 10. So 0 equals to x squared minus 13x minus 90. We can divide both sides by 10 and simplify it, correct?
Mhm.
So that gives you 0 equals to x squared minus 13x minus 90. Can you factor this?
Yes.
Yes, try. What do you get?
So you should get -5 and 18.
Okay, so let me write it in the factored form. So you mean x minus 18 times x plus 5, correct? Since, see, 90 is 9 times 10, but that does not give us minus 13. So we'll try 5 and 18, correct? And 5 and 18 will give us minus 13 if 18 is negative and 5 is positive. And this gives us the value of x as 18, which is a valid answer, but x equals to minus 5 is not a valid answer. So we'll disregard that. And therefore, we get that there are 18 t-shirts in a case, right?
Yeah.
Do you get the whole concept? How should we solve a word problem, right?
Yeah.
Basically, you should be very good at solving equations when you're trying to solve word problem, correct? So can you summarize what have you learned in today's lesson?
Yes. So in today's lesson, well, I'll go back up here.
Yeah.
We learned for solving rational equations, there's two methods. So multiplying by the least common denominator, or you could move everything to one side and then multiply by the denominators. Either way, you should get the same answer. And then we also learned how to solve word problems. So we learned that first you need to find the variables.
Define variables, yes.
Yeah. And then again, using the method we learned before, either using the least common denominator or moving everything to one side and using the denominator to then solve the equation.
Got it. So Chelsea, did you understand how should we solve word problems?
Yeah.
especially relating to rational functions, correct? Are you ready for some good examples?
Yes, sir.
Then you go to YouTube channel of mine, just type it Anil Kumar, rational functions playlist, and then I'll tell you which examples to do. Okay, so do that and then share the screen.
Here we go.
Okay, so there you go. So you see a playlist which says rational functions worksheet, right? Now, most of the questions which are given in this particular playlist are from the previous test papers. You get the idea.
Yeah.
Some of the questions you also see are mentioned, they're from your book, because many times book questions are there in the test paper. And very popular questions which have been in past test papers are here. So I'd like you to click on the second question first, which is pizza cost rational function. This is one of the most popular questions which I've seen in past 5 years. Rational. Okay. So please go through the question, read it, and tell me, how will you solve this question?
Okay, so question 12, the football booster bought pizza for $900 to sell at the game. They kept 10 pizzas to feed the players after the game and sold the rest for $1,040. Sorry.
1,040, correct.
1,040. There were 8 slices in each pizza. Their profit was 50 cents a slice. Question A, how many pizzas were in the original order? B, what was the original price of each pizza? And C, what did they charge per slice?
Correct. How will you do this question? Tell me.
So for question A, how many pizzas were in the original order? The first thing is to find what X is. So the number
Yes,
of...
we'll say, let this be X. We don't know about it, correct?
Yeah.
Let this be X, yeah.
So X would have to be X minus 10.
Okay, so you're trying to say that X is the total they purchased and what they sold was X minus 10, right? So we can find the cost price and the selling price, correct? So what is the cost price here?
So cost price would be $900 over X.
And the selling price?
1,040 over X minus 10.
Why X minus 10?
Because it says they kept 10 pizzas.
Very
so that the 10 pizzas you have to subtract from the cost.
Perfect. So you got the difference between them. And if I take the difference, we get the profit, right? So we are now talking about profit, correct? What is the profit given to you?
Profit is
8 slices in a pizza, 50 cents per slice. Profit is 50 cents per slice. So 8 slices. So it gives you how much profit?
$4.
Yeah, 50 cents times 8 slices, which is $4, right? You get your equation.
Yeah.
900 over X minus 1040 over X minus 10 equals to $4. And you can solve the single variable X in this particular equation. Does it make sense to you? Correct? That is how so you got the knack of it. That's clear. Okay, just go through this list. We'll select one more question from here. Let me select a tough one for you. Okay, chocolate factory. Chocolate factory. This is very popular question. Question number 5.
I'm Anil Kumar.
Can you please read the question and try to solve it?
The chocolate factory has 2 machines. Machine A takes S minutes to fill a case with chocolates, and machine B takes S plus 10 minutes to fill a case. Working together, the 2 machines take 15 minutes to fill a case. Approximately how long does each machine take to fill a case?
How will you perform or write an equation and solve this? Tell me.
So the first machine takes S plus 10 S minutes.
Yeah.
And machine B takes S plus 10 minutes to fill a case.
Correct.
And 1 is 15 minutes, so it'd be 1 over 15.
1 over 15, correct. We are talking about rate, right? So rate will be in 1 unit of time, how much work is done. Total job takes 15 minutes, right? 1 minute, 150. So 1 over 15, correct? So similar, when they work together, 1 over S plus 1 over S plus 10 equals to 1 over 15. simple equation to solve. S is the only unknown. You can solve it. You get the idea.
Yeah.
So follow this particular strategy and solve any question on rational functions easily. And you have so many practice questions here. Try to do them in your own time. And if there is any difficulty, share with me. I'll help you out. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, then. Thanks a lot. We'll end the class here today. I hope you understand and appreciate what rational functions are, how do we find restrictions, how do we solve rational equations, and also how can we solve the word problems related to rational functions. Feel free to write your comments, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for your time and all the best. Thank you.